In this video, we're going to look at topic 78, example 1, add and subtract polynomials. So they're asked, how do you add or subtract polynomials? And then we're given two examples. The main thing we want to look at here is when we're adding and subtracting polynomials, we need to make sure we only combine like terms. And like terms have the same base and the same exponent. So if you have something like x to the third power, it can only be combined with other terms that have x to the third power and just x to the third power. The leading coefficient or the coefficient in front won't matter. That's what you're combining, whether you're adding or subtracting. But you can only combine alike terms. So in part A, we have an addition sign here. When there's an addition sign, the parentheses no longer matter. So I'm just going to rewrite this without my parentheses. And all of the signs will remain the same for my second group. So I'll just copy them down. Now from here, I'm going to look for those like terms. So here I have 6x cubed. I want to look for any other terms that are x cubed. So here we have 2x cubed. By adding those, I'm only going to add the 6 plus 2. So I would get 8. And the x cubed remains the same. We don't change the exponents when we're adding or subtracting. Next, I would look at, I want to go in order here, so I'm going to look for anything x squared. So I have a positive x squared here. Actually, let me highlight this. I have a positive x squared and a negative 8x squared. So that's going to be 1 minus 8, which would give me negative 7x squared. All right, and then I'm just going to continue that process. So after x squared, the next degree would be something with an x, just x to the first power. In this case, there are no other x terms, so I'm just going to bring that 4x down. And then finally, we have the minus 7, our constants, plus 3. So do be careful. Make sure it's negative 7 plus 3, which is negative 4. Don't do 7 plus 3. We want negative 7 plus 3. Okay, so these problems, as long as you take your time, you really should not have much difficulty with. The mistakes that are made here are usually just rushing through problems or mixing up signs as we're trying to do these too quickly. Part B, we have a subtraction problem. This is important. Sorry about that. This subtraction sign does change things. All right, so there's one thing we need to do first. This subtraction sign applies to every term. And what you want to do is you want to think of it as being multiplied by negative 1, kind of like a distribution for negative 1. So I'm going to copy my first group down, 3x squared y squared plus 2xy squared plus 6x squared. And now I want to distribute that negative, so I'm going to say minus 2x squared y squared. The signs will change, so minus 3xy squared. And then we're subtracting a negative 2x squared, so that's going to become a positive 2x squared. Now here, some of the terms have both an x and a y. We again need to make sure that everything matches up. So if I have 3x squared y squared, I can only combine that with something else that is x squared y squared. So in that case, we'd have this negative 2x squared y squared. So 3 minus 2 would be 1. You do not have to show the 1 in front. So I'm just going to write x squared y squared. For this one, I'm going to go not necessarily in a specific order. I'm just going to start combining them as I see them matched up. So I'm going to take 2xy squared. I want to find something else with xy squared. There might not be. There doesn't always have to be like terms, but in this case there is. So we have 2 minus 3. That's going to give us negative 1. And remember, our variables and exponents remain the same. Forgot to highlight these. Once again, really the major difficulty or the major issue that you can run into is the signs. Right? So make sure you're careful with your signs. So I now have the only terms left are 6x squared and 2x squared. So I can combine those, and 6 plus 2 would give me 8x squared. Now I do want to try and write this in a standard form. In this case, this is good the way it's This is good the way it's written. We have the x squared y squared, the minus 1xy squared, and the plus 8x squared. We don't have to rearrange anything, so we're starting with that x squared y squared. and we're stopped there. Right? So adding and subtracting polynomials, just combining like terms, make sure they have the same base and the same exponent, and just be extra cautious with your subtraction problems. All right, you need to distribute, think of it as distributing a -1 to any terms that are after that subtraction sign.